Hey, I gotta be honest with you, man. Just the music alone gets me pumped up and hyped. I'm a
For
music
sure.
guy, so this is definitely the time to just get amped up for things. I
Oh,
know the
yeah.
Seahawks are struggling, right, Nick? And they have a little issue going on, but that's
We'll bounce
sometimes
back.
that stuff happens. Yeah, we're gonna bounce
Gotta
back. I'm
bounce
hyped.
back.
I know you're on the
Next man
Geno
up.
train. I'm on the
Oh,
Geno
yeah.
train. Next man up. So, but tonight it's all about special teams. You ready to do this,
It
man?
is. Oh,
All
yeah.
right,
Let's do it.
let's do it. All right. Well, welcome to Special Teams for Life with myself, Coach Marsh, and my good friend Nick LaBow. Nick, how are you, man?
Couldn't be better, It's a nice Wednesday night. Football, Seahawks aren't
Football
doing
season.
super well, but I'm a bit pumped up to see what Geno has to bring to the table, to see how we do without Russell Wilson. Because I haven't been alive to see quarterback play besides Russell Wilson, which
Wait,
is pretty
say
crazy
that
to
again.
think.
Say that again to me, man. Even though it makes you
I
feel old, but I
in
think that's a
my
big time thing for a lot of 12s in Seattle. What you
Oh,
just
yeah.
said. Say it
Yep,
again.
for sure. In my entire lifespan, I had like 3 years of Matt Hasselbeck, but I was 3 when he left.
You,
So,
you weren't
but in
breaking
my
down film
entire
when you were 2 years old.
memory, in my entire like memory of just watching Seahawks, it's always been Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the way it is for a lot of people around here, and
For
obviously
sure.
they equate winning to the 12s. I mean, I remember even where I used to coach high school for a long time. I mean, we had a winning tradition. I had never had a losing season. The coach that
Right.
mentored me, he had taken them to the semifinals, and then I came for a while. But then when they won a couple state titles after I left, now that I'm 15 years removed, it's kind of like everything happened after I left. And sometimes I feel like I want to remind. I don't do it, but I want to remind people like, hey, you know what? We were actually pretty good before those state titles, and we were,
Yeah. Oh,
for
yeah.
a couple of decades. So I think around here they forget that. Oh yeah, we did go to a Super Bowl in
Yeah.
2005.
And
Oh
Matt
yeah,
Hasselbeck, very
yeah,
good quarterback.
yeah. Or back in the PrehistorHAWK era when we had Dave
Hmm.
Craig and Kurt
Jim
Warner and those
Zorn.
guys, Jim Zorn, and going all the way back there. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think people hear Jim Zorn and they think like George Washington and Abraham Lincoln. You know, they don't think the modern stuff. So. But man, holy cow! After the last couple of weeks of not being able to do the show and now coming back,
Yeah. Got a
has
lot to
special
get
teams
into.
taken off or what, man? I mean, it's
Oh my
crazy this year.
gosh, I know, right? Yeah, we have a lot to unpack because there have been a number of phenomenal plays this year.
Yeah, it's been absolutely crazy. So,
Yep.
I think we're gonna go right into it. I think a lot of what we talk about, Nick, is that even though this focus is Seahawks focused,
Right.
that we also want to hit on the NFL. And I got to be honest with you, in all my years of watching NFL football, college football, everything else, this is the wildest first 4 to 5 weeks I've ever
Oh,
seen. I
yeah.
mean, from multiple doinks, right, ball hitting the upright, to game winners, to game losers, and I'm talking about the field goal kicks, not players
Right.
being losers. I mean, missed extra points. I mean, the kicking game has
Yeah.
become such a massive part based on some rule changes, based on I do love that they did move the PAT back, a few years
For
back.
sure.
I mean, look how what a difference that's made, right? So,
Yeah.
is there any one main thing that that's kind of really caught you this year in terms of special teams? It's like, man, I didn't like it's like you kind of see it a lot more or anything like that. And again, for those of you watching, these are not preset questions. I'm not told Nick I'm going to ask him these questions.
Yeah, I'll give you kind of two aspects to it. I'll give you a more Seattle Seahawks aspect and then more of an NFL. I've been really impressed with the overall defense and like the gunners and just tackling because we've had a lot less returns this year. And I think that's really because there have been the talent at the kind of gunner and defense position has really gone up. We had that 109-yard return that we're going to dig into later, but definitely the tackling aspect to special teams. And then for the Seahawks side of it, I have to give the same answer. We've had a lot of great studs Nick Ballore, who we're going to get into later. We have a couple clips on him. Cody Barton, just phenomenal guys. They both actually lead the NFL in special teams tackles.
Yeah, good calls on that. No doubt about it. So yeah, it's, like you said, that 109-yard return, that's crazy. I mean, I think we see that a lot in college, but very rarely in the NFL do you see, someone kick a field goal, and then the concept of covering field goals is not something that a lot of teams cover. I mean, I remember, again, back to my old coaching days when we would cover it practice. I called them once in a lifetimers, but you still had to cover them because at some point it was going to happen where you're going to kick a field goal. And if a team was smart enough to put a return guy back there, the difference is on punt, and we'll get into it a little bit later, but the difference is on punt, you got defensive guys out there. On field goal, you got more lineman type protecting. So a little bit harder for those linemen to make those tackles. Yeah. We'll definitely jump into that. But first, Nick, you know where I'm going with the start of this thing, man. I always have to bring it back to the PrehistorHAWK era.
Oh yeah.
Because I know you said that you grew up with nothing but Russell Wilson. I grew up with guys like Efren Herrera and people that, people that are true 12s that have been here for a long time. Yeah. They know the names that I'm mentioning, and I know that you know them too. But I think part of this show, as we've said, is to educate the people that are out there. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So I'm going to pop us into the first one, which is an old play, and I know that people have actually, I see some in the comments that actually really like the music. In the next couple of shows, we will actually start throwing some music on top of these plays and make it. Were you around? I hate to say, were you alive? But were you around during the old when they used to do the NFL films shows? I know they kind of do replays of them now, but the NFL film stuff where you nothing but music over some plays. Yeah, probably not.
I mean, I think they probably had some, like when I was alive, like maybe that 2013 to 15, but they kind of did stop doing those. So no,
they did
not in recent memory.
Yeah, I mean they still do great highlight videos. And lots of people that can do it, but man, they used to do some cool stuff. So this is actually thanks to you, Nick. I mean, you I've kind of put it on you to find some clips and everything to kind of educate you as well, and you're educating me big time. But what's really fun about this one, I think, is the fact that it's 1983, I think it was. So let's watch the play first. And again, I don't break down these prehistoric ones. They're more just for us to watch, but it's during the Jack Patera era. And I mean, look at this guy, man, the punter doing his thing for 27 yards. I mean, got to watch it again. And what's great. And again, you found this clip and sent it to me, which I loved because I had a different clip ready to go. And then you sent this one. I was like, oh man, this is golden. I can't wait to talk about this one. So first off, to back up just a little bit, having myself gone to Redmond High School out here near Seattle, Washington. Out here, number 86, Mike Tice. He owned a place called Fill Your Belly Deli. It was the sub sandwich place to go to. Everybody would go to Mike Tice's Fill Your Belly Deli in Redmond. So he was the tight end, but the punter is a guy by the name of Jeff West. Okay. Jeff West, and our special teams coach was Rusty Tillman. And Rusty Tillman was known as like one of the greatest special teams coaches of all time. So why do I say this? Well, first of all, they're playing the vaunted Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, look at how many guys they got up on the line of scrimmage.
Oh,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
looks
7,
like a
8,
field
9,
goal.
10. Yeah, I mean, they're coming after it. So Seahawks have to get into a tight punt. So they got everybody there. And again, not to break it down too much, but here's what I thought was cool, given that you had sent it to me. Jeff West, in that game, there's our rushing Theodis Brown. For those that are watching, remember Theodis Brown, 18 rushes for 43. Dr. Dan Dornick, 10 for 28. Jimmy Zorn scrambling like crazy just to get -2 probably. But Jeff West 1 for 27. And there's the rush right there for 27 yards. But here's what's crazy, man. Jeff West, when I was 8 years old, I'd gone with my mom to the Sports Athlete of the Year banquet. It was 1981. It was either 80 or 81. And Marcus Allen was there to receive the award for Athlete of the Year. And so, because he just come off the Heisman Trophy and everything else.
Right.
I go to sit down, and the guy sitting next to me is a guy by the name of Jeff West. And again, I'm one of the only kids that's at this thing. And somehow my mom was able to hook us up with these awesome opportunity downtown. So I sit there with them. It's awesome. I'm sitting with the Seattle Seahawks. I get it. That's the punter, but maybe that was my first indoctrination into special teams.
Yeah.
Fast forward to high school. And as you know, I've mentioned plenty of times who my mentor is, but here comes our special teams coach my senior year, a guy by the name of Jeff West. So here
Oh
it was,
man.
10 years later, Jeff West comes walking on the field, and I pulled out the little sheet of paper, maybe 3 autographs I ever got in my whole life because I just wasn't an autograph seeker. So when you sent that to me, it gave me the chills. It's like, man, oh man, this like
Jeff
you are
West.
dialed in on it. Jeff West, my favorite dude. He punted for about 5 years in the NFL. So there's your PrehistorHAWK moment, and eventually I'll have like a little PrehistorHAWK flash thing that flies up there on the screen. We'll make it cool. But for now, Jeff West gets a slam. All right, so now I get to turn. I'm going to turn over to you a little bit here because you get play number 2. Actually, I'm going to pull it back this way. Play number 2, I'm going to bring up, which is I'll actually let you go ahead and introduce it.
All right, play number 2. The play of basically that Seahawks season, phenomenal play. Our former punter.
And this is the Holmgen era, just to remind people. So we go PrehistorHAWK era, and then we go to the Holmgen era, and then we jump into Seahawks modern day era. So this Nick LaBow brings out the Holmgen era clips that we talked through. So go ahead, buddy, and I'll pull it up for us.
Yeah, all right. So this play, just a great play overall. Former punter of ours, John Ryan, wearing the action greens. It was the debut game in the action greens. Pulls up to punt. Hole just opens wide up, and he goes off to the races. They loaded about 5 guys up there. Great blocking, and just up, boom. He's running. Oh my gosh, he's running for more. And then all of a sudden, I don't know what happens. He just fumbles
Nick,
the
what
football.
happened there, man?
Completely gets blasted.
What the heck? Yeah, he's in bad shape.
Oh,
right there.
yeah.
He's seriously in bad shape.
He had a very
man, tell me what's going on here at the end of this punt. I mean, you are right. Look at the lane. I mean, come on.
Oh yeah.
What I would have given as a coach to have had a I mean, you could put a 747 airplane through that sucker, right? I mean, look at that.
Probably. I know. So, I mean, props to the blockers on that. I mean,
they really set it
to
up good.
get that kind of a lane on a punt where guys are presumably the defense is supposed to be rushing straight and trying to block it, to get that kind of a lane, that's once in a lifetime stuff.
But now, Nick, you gotta help me out here a little bit. I'm gonna flop you over so that I can get you I think bigger on the screen if I do this right. And let's see if I get this right here. Oh no, I'm gonna flop it back the other way. Let's go to here and try it this way. There you go. Now you can talk through it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna take my name off the bottom too so people can see. All right, so tell me what happens right here with him before he even drops the ball. He goes most running backs are going to run straight. Obviously, he doesn't do many of the running back drills and things like that. However, I mean, he's near the right hash mark, and then
he looks to like.
Go ahead, talk through it, man.
So
what we got going here?
I mean, he's off to the races. He's sprinting as fast as he can. His adrenaline is pumping. And then all of a sudden, like once he kind of gets to the logo, he makes a decision. Oh, I should switch the ball. And then,
oh, wait a minute. So I see what you're saying. See, I didn't break down this one. When you bring the Holmgen stuff, I let you do the breakdowns. You're saying that he saw the logo because he's running to the hash mark, right? He started in the middle of the field. He runs to the hash mark. And then you're saying maybe he, like in baseball, they say avoid the first baseline when you run out to the field stuff. Maybe with punters, it's try to touch the logo. Like he gets a $100,000 bonus. Boom.
Yeah, right.
You can get into the
right
logo,
there. He makes a hard
out of the
plant.
logo.
That's a really hard plant. He kind of leaped for that logo. And then as he passes it, he sees a guy coming from his right. So he decides to like switch the ball, in which he's a punter. He's maybe not the most conditioned athlete, and he's not like a running back. A running back's going to be very efficient when switching the ball while running at full blast. I mean, look at I think that's 54 right there.
Jeez,
on his left.
I'd drop the ball too, Nick, if I was running with those 4 guys around me.
Oh yeah. So he switches the ball and he's running at full blast, and then something happens where he doesn't really get the switch off. The ball kind of just comes out, and then the ball flies forward after it hits him. He throws it up in the air. Oh, look, yeah, right there.
There you go. So I
Yeah.
pulled out. I found I was able to pull the other
Or
angle for you.
actually, no, I don't think he's switching it. He's looking to cover it, but his hand like came in and plopped the ball right out. In which then,
He definitely doesn't have the 4
yeah,
points proper, right? So
no,
just to hit it real quick, when we go talk about the 4 points of football, of holding the football, you always talk about from a standpoint of there's actually 5 points, but you got fingers near the top, never on the front of it, but around the front, forearm, elbow in tight, and pushed against your ribs. Those are 4 of them, and then fifth one is always double protect with the arm. But you can tell he's got it all, but it looks like maybe the back point of the football isn't quite
yeah,
going into the armpit. Now
right.
this is the special
It's
teams.
kind
It's
of
just running
pointed
the ball.
out.
Point being, do running back drills if you're
Yeah,
field goal
right.
kicker or punter, right? But now is this let me get back to the piece that we had here. Is that Squabble back there? That might be Squabble smiling. And how would you like to have that guy's job?
That would
He's
be.
holding up
Oh
the
yeah.
something. There's lots of good jobs down at the Seahawks Stadium.
Mhm.
But yeah, man, it's just funny stuff. And then he just loses it.
Yeah.
It's gone,
And then
man.
he
Like,
corrals
what
it
the
in and
heck?
hits off his forearm. Somehow it just like flies
Oh,
straight up into the air. He grabs it. He's down. I think John Ryan was a little too focused on, they say catch before you run as a receiver. I think John Ryan was a little too focused on the end zone.
yeah.
He
Yeah. And
he didn't expect, I don't think he expected to get that many yards. And then all of a sudden he's past the 50. He's only got 40 yards to go. His eye is on the prize. Totally
yeah.
loses the football.
You know it. But heck, man, look at this calf size though.
Oh yeah.
Jeez Louise. Now, he is running with 2 different shoes. And like you said, I mean,
That
there's a
is
couple
true.
things that definitely went wrong. And we're just having fun. He was obviously a
Oh,
great
for
punter.
sure.
He did one of the greatest fakes ever by getting us into
Yes.
the, starting us off in the NFC Championship with the scoring. But this is it's definitely a comical piece because everybody's all excited. And then it is just comedy of errors. Like you
Yeah.
expect that's with maybe the Detroit Lions or something.
Oh, for sure.
But then
And
because
then
he looked up and didn't see it.
and then boom, the side of him, the
Yeah.
guy he was fearing, the guy he was looking at, ball goes haywire. He ends up on the ground, and then all of a sudden, coming from the side, it's a little too violent to show.
Yeah, I froze it
Boom.
there, man. It's for the children at home, it'd be a little queasy. So
Yeah.
before we go on to the real stuff, and man, we got some cool stuff coming up. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
seriously cool stuff from Belor, Belor making some hits to the double punt and to other things you mentioned. A couple of shout outs to the people who are here. Let's see here. Look at Rain is in the house. Rain, are you
Hey.
seriously up late back there on the East Coast? Man, you can always count on Rain to be here. And look at Tyler Parcher talking about the music, man.
Oh, yeah.
Music is
Music's
awesome. Can I be a mod? Hey, you know what's funny? Nick and I were just talking about mods the other day because we were going to be taking calls, so to speak, by putting the link. You're going to be able to come online and be live with us on the show, like actually video-wise on the show with us. I think we will be the only live show that's doing telestrating in America that actually is going to bring in live callers,
Right.
either from an audio standpoint or we already figured out how to do it, didn't we? Which is awesome.
Yeah, we did.
We just need a few practice runs. So we are
Mhm.
putting the all points bulletin out there that we want people and need some people to do
Yeah.
some moderating for us because there's no way Nick and I can produce all this stuff. So we're definitely looking for that. So Tyler, hey man, good to see you. Glad you're here.
Stick around.
And look at drumsticks with 2 M's and 2 S's. I like that spelling.
I like it too.
Look forward to the video. All right, man.
Emphasizes it.
Yes, he does. Okay, so what do you say we go on to some legit stuff now?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
NFL, this is now, in the now.
This is in the now. Okay, so I'm going to bring us up to Telestration 101 here. First one is going to be something that I've talked about many, many times, and it's Nick Belor. I mean, this guy is he's a freak of a player, man. I love watching this guy play. I mean, it is awesome.
For sure.
And the nice thing about it, you know what? I'm going to do a little differently here. Let me just I want to add this to the stream and bring myself back in. It's okay if people see the little sidewinder over there. So here's what's cool about this. He is by far and away he might be my favorite Seahawk right now. Tyler Lockett is number 1. I mean, it's just
for sure.
Tyler Lockett is my clear cut number 1. But this guy is unbelievable. The way he's been able to play as long as he has. So here's what you get. You're going to get protection. But the reason why we chose to show these plays, a couple plays before we show the double punt, is as great as the double punt was, you and I have talked about the fact that what caused the reason for a double punt?
Lack of protection.
Lack of protection. So this one isn't so much a lack of protection. This is something I wanted to show last week, but we weren't able to have the show because of me, my fault. So here he is. He plays in the right guard position, but as we've talked about before, notice how all of these guys are linebackers. Yeah. So you get your best snapper here, but you think of it as a defensive position. And I'm not teaching Nick this. This is just for people that want to watch and learn special teams. You talk every special team like it's offense or defense. So these guys are all going to be a defense. It's linebacker. He's a three-way dude, linebacker. And then your guys on the outside are going to be like corners. And then usually these are hybrid, either safety, free safety, strong safety, or linebackers that's quick. And then quick personal protector can tackle. And then obviously your punter. So against the 49ers, we're pinned down there tight. Fortunately, he didn't have to get all the way back there. We'd got a few yards to get out there. But now, here's what's great. And this is what he does that's just absolutely phenomenal.
Boom. Awesome punt.
Yeah, totally awesome punt. Let me get to the next piece. So when he gets going, he gets on his straight line. And what the goal is that you try to create an umbrella. So you try to get everybody going straight. And then everybody's go. And then the Flyers, though, their job is to just get after it. But what he does is he knows and understands from film study where guys are going. And instead of doing what we call as the Olay tackle, which is basically when someone comes up to you and you're running and you try to run right at them and then they juke you and you kind of Olay, kind of the old bull with the red blanket thing or the red or whatever they call it. Well, here what you get is, let me put it back in. You end up getting Nick Bellore, who gets there, and then watch how he takes this angle at 45 degrees. See, here he is going out there. He's setting himself up for the punt returner, and then he's just teeing him up. Boom.
Bam.
Man. We're going to have to get the old Batman from the 50s. This is way before you, man. Like they used to have the boom and bam stuff. I mean, you said it when we watched it, right? I mean, the helmet.
Oh, yeah. Helmet's off. That's always a sign of a big hit when the player gets up with the helmet off. And their player has his helmet off, too.
Yeah. And this is different than the John Ryan one, right? I mean, that's a guy getting hit, punter getting hit and everything else. The punt returner knows this is coming, but look at, I mean, you said it. Not only is the 49ers hat off, there's Bellore right there. And that's not a Seahawks helmet he's wearing. That's his hair.
No,
So I just want to go back and see a little bit of, again, just for people to just appreciate when you see a guy making a special teams tackle, it's sometimes you just think, oh, the guy ran down and made the tackle. No, man, these guys, first off, they're fighting to keep their jobs. Right?
Oh, yeah.
And Nick and I have a special coming up on one of the best punt return or kickoff return guys we ever had, and how he kind of utilized the salary and kept his job and stuff like that. But again, you can see how these guys they're finding their spacing. They have to get 5 to 7 yards apart, and then you got contained guys. But as he's running here, the last little part of this, as he's running, watch his head, how he starts to kind of he's just teeing him up.
Yeah.
And he's just looking in. I mean, I just love it how he's keeping his leverage. If this guy were to go outside, he would have kept going outside. He'd have made sure that he stayed inside of him and forced him back into these inside guys. But man, oh man, like great umbrella job over here. Like Nick, think about a couple weeks ago, we were talking, right, about how we didn't see that good umbrella against Tennessee on kickoff and they were able to get around it.
Yeah.
Oh man, right there. I mean, that guy has nowhere to go, but he chose the wrong way. He chose the wrong way. I mean,
I'd rather face those two than Bellore one-on-one.
Oh my goodness.
What a great player.
Yeah, he's unbelievable. Okay, so now this gets us into the kind of the lead up into it. So here's it. I'd shown this play on one of my own shows just because I was showing just the great special teams play that Nick Bellore made on this.
Yeah.
But what I want everybody to watch and what Nick and I want you to watch, and then Nick's gonna be talking more when we get to the Dixon double punt.
Oh yeah.
So I'm taking the pre part here. The center for the last couple of weeks, and I've been calling it out. Not saying that I know anything more. I'm not an expert, other than I just coached for a long time, and I love special teams. But Nick, who's on our show, and I have talked so many times. I mean, there's so many times where he'll text me after a game like, "What's up with our protection?"
Oh yeah,
here,
too many times.
Yeah, too many times. And you can see right here, even though they didn't even come close to blocking it. I mean, this is the week, 2 weeks prior to the Rams game when we did get it blocked, but they go back the whole season, right? Well, how many times, Nick, have you and I seen this where there's just a huge gap in the middle of the field?
Right. And you know what I've noticed? It's our center. And he did it in the John Ryan punt. It's same center, same guy. He turns to the side and kind of right there, he chip blocks him right from the side rather than guarding that protection or advancing downfield. And that's how the Rams got us.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I love that you called that up. And again, I just want to keep reiterating. I do not tell, I mean, Nick and I choose the plays, but we don't sit before the show and talk about how we're going to break it down. I do some telestrating, but we just say, hey, let's just see what we see and talk about it and choose which plays. First off, I do want people to note, look where he is snapping the ball and look where our punter is standing. So you wonder if you ever go to, Nick, have you gone to some of the practices in August?
Yeah.
Out there? Okay. A lot of people go out there. And who does everybody want to see? Like, give me 3 players that everybody goes out and wants to just watch.
Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, and Bobby Wagner.
Yeah, Bobby Wagner, right? So everybody wants to go out there and watch them, or Tyler Lockett. They want to watch Pete Carroll running around at practice.
Right.
When I go, and I was talking to another person the other day about when he goes as well, another special teams buddy of mine. We love to go and sit at the very left. If we're not guests that are going down on the field, we'll go sit at the very left because you get that huge field over there where the punter and the kicker look like they're just goofing around for a few hours. No, man. I mean, the fact that these snappers that snap it so well that he can be on the right side of the hash mark coming at our direction, snapping it 2 yards, yard to 2 yards to the left of the hash mark, even though we're going to talk about what the center's doing wrong. I mean, that's pretty impressive, right? I mean, look at that snap. I mean, that
right
is
to him, right to his chest.
But to the rotation point.
Oh,
I mean, look where the threads are.
Oh, for sure.
So if you wonder why, guy's just snapping the ball. No, it's like saying that Nolan Ryan throwing a fastball is easy. I can just throw it as hard as I can. No, pitchers place it right. But these snappers, I mean, it's unreal what they do. But let's get to the point. Go ahead, Nick.
That's why long snapping, for most teams, it is not a secondary position. Teams are paying these players individually. They're giving them a roster spot because, I mean, this is not an easy job at all. Snapping it to a quarterback who's like maybe a few yards away, a yard away, that's hard as it is. The blocking, it's hard. But snapping it like 10 yards right in the chest of the punter, right in the right form, the laces are perfectly out. It's perfectly aligned for him to get it off.
I mean, look at Dixon's arm. His arms are right there ready to go. Like he's in the perfect position to take it and take his basically step and a half and plant and kick it. I mean, it's amazing what these guys can do, that they're able to do that type of stuff. So all right, let's get back to seeing it where it is. Bump you over. So actually, you know what? I'm going to go the other direction here. Let me pull myself back in and do the share. It just makes it easier. Eventually we'll get this smooth, really smooth. All right. So, but now let's get back to what we were talking about, Nick, and what you had started to really point out, that it's not a lot of people think it's the guards or somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Really, the mistake potentially is on who? Who did you mention that we're starting to see lately?
The long snapper.
Protection. Yeah, the long snapper. So it's tough because the long snapper's snapping. He knows there's nobody over him. And really the job is that they're supposed to, everybody's supposed to protect inside for the most part. The quote guards, even though they're linebackers, the guards are blocking inside. Everybody, that's their responsibility. You never really want a guy blocking to his outside. But you and I both talked about the fact that we keep seeing our center literally turn in the worst position.
He's overcommitting to that guy.
Bingo. Yeah, he's definitely overcommitted. So, I mean, great snap. But most of the time you see a center pretty much stay square, maybe start backing up, and then boom, head off down the field. Well, here he's moving to the right. Now, personal protector always, after the snap goes by him, will step up and look into the A gaps, the defensive A gaps, right? So A gaps are this side, then B gaps, C gaps, and then D gaps are the far outside. So the personal protector is always checking to see to the inside. Is there any blitzing man coming? So first thing he does is exactly what you need to do.
Yeah.
Center's going to the right. Okay. He doesn't see anybody blitzing, pick up anybody, nobody there. And then he knows by timing wise, as soon as he hears the thud, boom, everybody takes off. So I just, Nick and I just wanted people to kind of see that little part of it before we get to this little special.
All right, this is a doozy. This is a big play.
Man, I feel like we should take a little breather
Yeah.
before we get into this one, man.
And not only is it the play itself, but it's just like where we were in the game, down by I think like 10 points, late third quarter.
Yep, third quarter. Yeah,
Yeah,
no doubt about it.
It was a pretty crucial moment. So
Yeah.
here we go.
And how this guy is not the MVP of the universe.
Oh yeah,
the special teams.
I mean,
that's the punter.
this
We're
play
talking about
alone.
Dixon. Yeah, we're talking about Dixon.
Yeah, so we're talking. Yeah, this play alone is just awesome. All right, so
we'll run it. I'm gonna let Nick take it. I'm gonna run it first so we can just watch the whole thing because everybody's seen it from the side. But you can talk through it. We're gonna run through it, and then we'll come back and break down a little bit. But you can definitely talk through this first kind of run through of the play. Everybody saw from the side, and they've seen millions of highlights. Not everybody's seen the all 22 end zone view.
All right, here comes the snap. Dixon looks to punt. The guy gets it. Ball deflates. Dixon pulls it up with one hand, and he punts it like he's running, full momentum, stops, kind of jukes back, punts it, one hand, 69 yards, down to the 10-yard line.
Yeah, it is unreal.
Oh, yeah.
Able to do there.
All right, now let's zoom in on the protection here.
Yeah, I'm gonna slow-mo it a little bit, and you go ahead and talk through or focus, whatever you want to hit on here.
All right, so let's roll it.
There we go. Okay, we're rolling.
So here we're seeing our long snapper commit to the left side, and that guy kind of does the same thing. Although here's Belor right here.
Yep. So
let's look at him too.
There's Belor.
Okay,
right
so
there's Belor, and there's your center after you snapped, and he immediately helps to the left.
So they kind of jam the gaps in a way. I mean, they have this guy rushing, who's kind of looks like he might be beating out this guy right here. Okay, now this guy completely goes right through Ott and Belor because I assume he watched film and noticed what we're all talking about right now, that the long snapper turns to the left and commits to one guy. Okay,
what do you notice? Hey, Nick, what do you notice about, and this will prove to people that we don't talk about this stuff. What do you notice about both of these? Let's call them defensive tackles. Okay, we'll say these are the tackles, these are the ends, and these are, kind of ends, but we'd call them kind of linebackers, basically 4 linemen, 3 linebacker types. First off, their alignment is outside shade.
Yeah.
Okay. And we talked about that the offensive guards in spread punt, their responsibility is inside. But here's the difference between the Rams, what they did, and probably what they picked up on, and what Minnesota did. So now, tell me what you see that both defensive tackles do. Where do they go?
They both go right to the middle.
They both go inside a gap. So they started looking like outside gap, but it seems like that's a very easy blocking assignment. You're protecting the inside, and your personal protector is going to help. And your center is going to help one side, and maybe your personal protector is going to help. A lot of people ask me, well, why do they put the personal protector on this side? Don't you usually put the personal protector on the side that your punter's leg is to protect their leg? Yes, at the high school level you do. Most of the time at college level. In the NFL level, a lot of times that punter does not like the personal protector near his punt leg. He'd rather be on this side. So they kind of put the heavier, better protection to the right, easier protection to the left. So there's schemes on that. But if we see this here, like you said, go ahead, take it.
All right, so we see, and 44 also, Nick Belor. Phenomenal things. He's a great fielder, but here he just makes the wrong read. He sees this guy. He knows, I think he might assume his teammates going to, the long snapper is going to come and help his assignment, but then he goes and helps our other guard's assignment. He doesn't really pick up. He kind of doubles on our tight end 89's assignment right here, allowing for 44 to jam the gap. Now here's the blitzer our personal protector who totally.
Where did he go?
Our personal protector, he's called a personal protector. He's not a fielder.
That's the line of the night so far. That is
the
line of the night.
Oh yeah. Leave the fielding to.
That's what Nick gets for the line of the night so far.
All right. Yeah. So to Travis Homer, who is our personal protector, let me emphasize that. Leave the fielding to our MVP guy, 44. Okay. Homer wants to go be the star. Homer wants to go be the star. He wants to get a big hit so that he can be on the show the next week. But no, he lets the guy get right past him.
So he can be on our
Completely.
show. He wants to be
Yeah, he
highlight.
wants
He
to be
wants
on
to
our
be the number one
show.
play. Then Nick, you know that's where it's going to be. Eventually, guys are gonna be
Oh,
like,
for sure.
forget Sports Center top 10. We want to be on
Coach for
Nick
life.
LaBow and Coach for Life.
Oh yeah, special teams for
Top
life.
3 special teams for life. Top 5.
Oh
But
yeah.
I mean, what does he look? I mean, where is he?
And
looking?
then he looks back
Yeah.
and he's totally like, "Oh, dude, I just screwed up."
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now here's a coaching point for people that want to. If you want to ever play special teams, I want people to take note of this right here. His hands. Basically, what you teach people often is you teach them to. Let me get back here. You teach them to cross their hands while they're doing stuff as they go to make their blocks on certain plays. You want them to run across and basically almost if you see people take the wide receiver gloves and they put them together and like I actually have a pair sitting behind me right now. There's Seahawks gloves. You put them together and it makes a Seahawk on the face. Well, when you go to block a punt, you're not trying to go to their body or tackle them. You're just basically they teach you to try to just take it off the punter's foot. I mean, you could tell by his hands right there. He's definitely got the hands crossed. He's pushed them right out, and he just took it right off his foot. But again, people who would just see it the first time, and even when NFL analysts are looking, they don't have time. You know, we have time to sit and look at this stuff, so they don't pick it up right away. Very few people would have noticed right away that our personal protector missed on that.
Oh
right?
yeah,
it just wouldn't. Very
and
few
so
people would have picked up on it.
yeah, here goes 44, blocks it, and then at this point, I think all 12s are thinking it's over. We're down by 2 scores, late third, fourth quarter. If they get the ball after this punt, they're like inside the 5. Our defense was not playing good. But then Michael Dixon, the MVP of the season, he comes around, he scoops it up with one hand. I don't even know how he did it. Like NFL footballs are
it's one of the greatest plays I've ever seen. Yeah, talk about it.
And he's running at full speed too. He just runs in, totally grabs it, and then let's get the play back up here.
I want to hear from you. Before I do that, I want to hear just your thought on that scoop when he scooped it up, because I know we were texting on that. Very few people talked about it the next day. You know, it wasn't the main thing that people were talking about. It was people were talking about the double punt. They were talking about, was it a rule? Was it not a rule? Because the guy, I forget the head of the I forget what his name is. The guy who used to be the head of referees and stuff. Talking about the rules. Talking about the rule and that it is and it isn't. And I thought he could double punt, so I wasn't questioning that. But right away, man, I had to rewind it a bunch of times and go, is anybody noticing how quick he scooped that ball up?
Totally.
It was unbelievable.
And this goes back to his rugby days in Australia.
Yep.
From Australia, that's where he got the skill.
Yeah.
So
and in fact, I think I'm going to call my good friend Pat McAfee, the Pat McAfee show, to give him a shout out. I'm going to ask him if these dudes, Lester Hayes from the old PrehistorHAWK era, anybody who's watching from that era would know that Lester Hayes used to put stickum on his hands and his wrists. He was a defensive back, so it was easier for him to connect with the receivers and get sticky on large end and all this other stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I'm starting to wonder if maybe these punters put a little stickiness on their hands, because
I wouldn't be surprised.
You never see them. I mean, how often do you see them drop a snap that's coming out of 90 miles an hour? Like, receivers can't catch balls, but a punter can catch a snap going 80 miles an hour at them. It's not like they're working on wide receiver drills a lot. But so I'm going to pull this up for you, because it is definitely very, very cool.
Okay. Right there.
I did the zoom in. I did the zoom in for you.
Oh yeah. Have to have it. Swings in, grabs the football. And then I think this is even the more miraculous thing. He runs with it. He notices the lane's closing, the gap's closing. He can't get the first down. So look how fast he stops if you rewind it back. Or forward. Yeah, fast forward a bit.
Rewind it forward. That's a little. I don't have that button. I don't have the rewind it forward button, Nick.
So he runs there.
It is impressive when he goes backwards and scoops it back. Look at how quickly he lays the ball down on the ground when he goes backwards. Just easy, smooth. He spins it when he's running backwards.
Oh yeah.
But
it's like he's practicing this in practice with how just natural it looked to him. And then he's running.
Okay, Nicole, freeze it right there. You just brought up a really good point that I know you're kind of joking a little bit, but this is I didn't even really think about this. So you obviously know a guy named Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Right. So when he came out of college and was hitting all those crazy shots and people were kind of ripping him a little bit because he was kind of taking the league by storm. But it was like, should a guy really be shooting 30-foot jumpers and stuff? People didn't realize that he'd been practicing those type of shots forever, right? He'd been working on those little nuanced things forever. I'd be willing to bet that Dixon does practice, like not necessarily spinning it and those, but with 3 hours of practice time, I mean, there's only so much that punters and kickers can do. And I used to tell my kickers all the time, like, hey, I'm going to come spend 20 minutes with you during practice today, and we're going to work on, this, 18 different types of onside kicks and pop over and this and that. And I would just constantly try to create new things. But man, and now looking back, I'm thinking I should have worked on scoop and score, so to speak, right? Because that's what he's doing. He's doing a scoop and score drill. But the way he does it is just, it's astronomical.
This also goes back to our first play, the John Ryan play. Punters aren't always, in most cases, the most conditioned athlete. They're not your running back or wide receiver. But his ability to just...
Well, and he's laid some hat. I mean, he is hit some dudes.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, for sure. He's running at full speed, and then he just totally stops, backs up. And then blockers do good.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh!
Look where the ball is. Look at the placement of the football.
Side
as a guy, yes, as a guy who spent his whole career focusing on special teams, loved doing it. We did it the first day of practice. I mean, I love special teams, and I know you do with a passion. To see a guy not only scoop it the way you've just spoken about, but then to get settled. He's got guys, at least a second effort block, or I call it 3E effort. Which I'll explain another time. But to have just the calmness to just get the ball, reset into your punt position, square your feet. I mean, if you were to just take just this picture alone and cropped everybody out, you'd say, he's just getting off not the greatest punt of his life, but he's just doing a punt. I mean, basically he just does a normal punt.
Yeah.
And you nailed it with the rugby piece.
For sure. And I want to point something else out. If you rewind a bit, it's about time that our personal protector showed up into the crop and actually started blocking.
Yeah.
Michael Dixon
came to the party. Man.
He should get an award for that.
There you go. Oh, yeah. I mean, it is argued. And I mean, McAfee said it too, right? I mean,
for sure.
Greatest special teams. It is the greatest special teams play I've ever seen. It. You can take fake field goals and all those type of things, which are fun to watch. But you have something like this that is just an unbelievable. Yeah, and the difference between this and a fake field goal or fake punt is this is on the fly, right? It's not getting a huddle and know about it. We haven't rehearsed it. And you also said, Nick, the right thing. I mean, this could have turned into a blowout. If they scoop and score on this, or they get the ball down there and score, I mean, and then we're losing by 20, 28, 30 points. And then Seattle's really, we're talking basketball season, and we don't even have a basketball team.
Yeah.
So, we have the WNBA, but their season's over, and, it's all of a sudden now that we got. All right. So with that, we still got more to cover. So we're going to take a quick 60-second break. We'll do it with our little countdown. So if those are watching can watch the music, that'll allow Nick and myself to get a quick sip of water here. And then we're going to come back with the Justin Tucker field goal and the 109-yard return and a crop of missed field goals that took place and some other stuff in the second half of the Special Teams for Life with Coach Marsh and Nick LaBow. We'll see you in 60 seconds. All right. And here we are back at it again.
Second half.
All right. Second half. Now, we also talked about there just being some unbelievably crazy stuff that's taking place overall in the NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, unreal stuff. So let's go to Detroit. Now, Nick, if there's a city that you just would not want to live in, let me back up. I'd live in it because you know who my favorite singer is.
Yeah.
Or rapper, right? And I tell people I try to stay the hippest grandpa in America. So I don't care if people like me or not for it. I'm a huge Eminem fan. So Detroit's big for that. Not so big when it comes to NFL football. And even this last weekend.
Even basketball too. Recently.
Yeah. And see, back before you were born, Detroit Pistons were off the charts. I mean, they were the bad boys and everything else. Not so much lately.
No.
So now all of a sudden they, it's just not fun to be them. So now they're facing Baltimore, who, by the way, I mean, they're just a fun team to watch.
Oh, for sure.
So let me pull up what we have here and we'll just talk through it. Again, neither Nick nor I have done this, but this was unreal. And when I pulled the clip, I just thought it was so cool that the very first part of the, when they showed it, when they were able to flip to the game, it was neat to see them show what a full field was going to look like from that far, right? I mean, to just see what 66 yards looks like. I mean, that is a long, long ways that distance to drill that.
Oh, yeah.
To hit the game winner. So now you got arguably the best kicker in the NFL who's, going for the kick here.
66 yards. NFL record.
NFL record. And what I think is great here is the fact that you have actually, let me just go back to something real quick. Make sure I'm going to just adjust something just a little bit so you can see it even better. There you go.
There we go.
So now we'll just see the kick for those of you that didn't get to see it. I mean, it's unreal to see a 66-yard field goal. It's amazing when you see these guys kicking 45 or 50-yard field goals.
For sure.
Now,
no doubt.
Good thing it was indoors. We have talked about the crazy odd winds that seem to be turning these balls left and right throughout the kicks.
Here comes the kick. Oh, it's a doink. It's out. Oh, man.
And the first time I watched it, the first time I watched it, I thought it was a double doink. I didn't realize it had hit the net.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 2 weeks ago when this took place. Again, when he kicks the field goal. Go ahead.
You were talking about the winds. I actually think that there were the winds in this dome. I just think they were favoring Tucker because it kicks, like if you watch it again.
Yeah, look at
it kicks off the crossbar and then it bounces up and back in and hits the net.
Yeah. Hits it and bounces back hard into the net.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing stuff. So
yeah.
I was able to pull up another really cool angle of this thing that I think is just fantastic. Let me just pull it so you can see even better. So here's where you get to see this thing take place. Just a brilliant kick from that far.
Boom. Drops right down. Bang. Yeah. Look at all the Lions fans.
Yeah, that's the best part. When you
all
see
the
fans.
Man, that's sad.
But we've seen this, and it happened the other night. Like, this is a good way to see the protection schemes of how they lock ankles, get themselves in. I mean, if you watch the Baltimore game the other night, they needed the blocked field goal to come back and win, and it was because one of these, it was the right guard actually, he fell down. The guy got in, got the blocked field goal. But you get good protection there.
And look at the crowd when the Lions fans when it doinks first.
Look at you already got guys with their hands on their heads.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Yeah.
Like, not us again.
Mm-hmm. It took a pretty sharp dive. And then there's
Squabo again. but look at I mean, that's just a great view because when that thing bounces, you don't know which way it's going. I mean, you can tell when it hits and bounces right there.
Boom.
These people don't know if it's good or not good or where. I mean, right there, you don't know.
And then look at that Lions fan in the middle. She's like jumping up and down. She thinks it's good.
Praise the Lord. But you know what? I think she's got a Seahawks shirt on. She's like, Minnesota lost, and then this guy's filming it and all these like it's just the reaction of this guy.
That's the Lions version of NorpCam, right?
And you know what? And none of these people went to work the next day.
No.
They're like my brother. My brother, when the Seahawks lose, he takes like 2 weeks off. Can't go to work. Can't do it. But here's what I want to show you. What I want people to see when he's doing the kick, which I thought is awesome because I always used to break down kickers. If I knew we were going to be in a game that was probably going to be tight, I would watch the kicker just like I'd watch receivers to see, look for a couple things. With receivers, I always look, the very first thing I would do when I break down film, the very first thing is I would immediately look at the wide receivers to see if their hands gave away whether it was a run or a pass. Because even at the NFL level, not as much, but definitely college and absolutely high school level, if a guy's going to receive, if they're going to throw the ball, receivers hands start moving, their stance is tight, everything else. If all of a sudden the receiver is not, if it's a running play, they just kind of come up and lackadaisically do it. Right. Well, with kickers, you can tell if they're going to try something different. Maybe it's going to be a fake by the way they kind of line up. So I'm always looking to see, is there some special lean they do? Well, watch Tucker here when he goes into his kind of, we call it the cadence of the kick.
Yeah.
He gets his normal kicker is going to go, and you've seen them many, many times where they take, two steps back and 2 steps to the left, or 3 steps by 2, a 2 by 2, 1 by 3, 3 by 1, all these different things. And then they'll usually take 1 step and kind of angle themselves into just right there. They kind of angle themselves into the kick and get a lean. Then what I want you to see him do is he does this kick, and this is what he's known for doing that right there. He's known for doing that
little kick up.
Yep. And then he'll usually get himself, but look what he does. Look what he did. Did you see that right there?
Take a step out.
And it's so brilliant. It's so brilliant. And the reason why is most defenses at that yardage, even I would tell my players, if a kid's kicking 45-yard field goal, let's say in the high school level, in the rain or something, hey, do not rush the kick. Just if we lose, we lose, but we're not going to, rough the kicker and give him another chance at it.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll take our chances. This guy's kicking 66 yards, as great as he is. I'm telling our guys, hey, don't rush him. So he's probably assuming, hey, look, I'm not going to kick a low line drive, because a low line drive, people always say that, it drives me nuts. And Pat McAfee said the same thing. Low line drive kicks, all they do is not get to the goalpost.
Yeah.
So you can't kick a low line drive to get it there. You still have to get it up in the air, and he got it way up in the air. What you have to do is bring velocity into the kick. So it's just unbelievable. Like, I can't wait to use this when I'm speaking at special teams, doing special teams stuff at clinics, because it's unbelievable just the smarts of him to get set, and nobody picked up. None of these guys are picking up on it. Do his normal thing, and then instead of setting forward, I'll just take a little step back. So now his cadence of the kick is extra. Bump. Did you see the little extra?
And honestly, yeah. Oh, yeah. And one thing I am surprised about is that the Lions put that many rushers there, and they didn't go with what the Jaguars did, which is going to be our next play that we're going to analyze, and put a returner back there, because at this point, I believe it's a tied game. So
no, Detroit was up by 1. Detroit was up by 1.
But
I would still at the same time, Nikki, because you do bring up a great point, right? They got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They got everybody up here on line of scrimmage. I would definitely have like 2 safeties back here in case it did get blocked, in case they did fake it.
Oh, like yeah, they could have definitely faked it too.
Heck yeah, they bring everybody up, and now all of a sudden you just run a fake over the top, and you say, hey, one-on-one, if they scouted them and said, hey, they bring everybody. But again, so see, he takes that extra little hop. He doesn't do that on regular field goals. Regular field goals, he's up here, and then it's step kick. He gets the extra little hop in there to get his momentum going. Then he's in his cadence of the kick. Boom.
Yeah.
Now look at the height of that kick.
Oh, yeah. That almost touches the roof. And look at his reaction, too.
It's just a beautiful, yes. And please look at his reaction.
He's running away because he knows his entire team's about to totally jump on him.
You've seen a lot of football, Nick, and that is the truth, man. If you're a kicker, get the heck out of there, man. You don't want to get run over by people. All right. So let's get to the next one. Now, this one was nuts. This is absolutely crazy. This one I've been excited to see. So go ahead. I'll let you talk through this one.
All right.
We'll
so
watch it.
Now this is the same week.
Yeah. Jaguars in Arizona. The score is 7-7. And there's just a couple seconds. This is the last play of the first half.
Yeah.
It's tie ball game.
Matt Prater, who previously set the record for longest field goal with, I believe 63 yards, is attempting a 65-yarder to break his own record.
67.
67-yarder. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So here comes the snap. Jaguars put a number of guys on the line. They're not going to commit as much as the Lions did in our last play.
Okay, bingo. That's what I was just going to say. If somebody was to do a quick count here, and the people upstairs do that, but what you can't see, and what most people couldn't see, because this is the actual type of footage they used.
Yeah.
When they were showing the game, they showed it from this angle. Most of the time, they do on a field goal kick. But there's only 10 guys here in this box,
Right.
because there's a guy back deep back there.
Yeah. And you
Now,
can tell.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna let you say it. What's the difference between the people on the front line for punt versus the people on the front line for field goal?
On field goal, they're down and they're locked in, and they are.
And what type of personnel?
It's offensive linemen.
It's offensive linemen. You
Yeah.
can tell the big butts are there, right? The big offensive linemen, as we used to call it back in the PrehistorHAWK day, as opposed to, so it's not like a bunch of linebackers are going to be able to go down and cover. So let's watch the play for anybody who didn't see it. We'll watch it through.
Yep.
Go ahead and talk it up.
All right, so here comes the snap. Great hold. It looks like it's actually going to be there. It's just barely short, and then all of a sudden they had a returner down there. Okay, he's got some room. Breaks a tackle. The tight end goes right in there. Another guy, phenomenal blocking, and oh my gosh, he's to the house. Touchdown,
109 yards. 109 yards.
9 yards. That's incredible.
I mean, yeah.
And notice how Jacksonville loads the long side of the field.
Yeah,
they're preventing a fake. And I really thought watching that was going to go in, because it was perfectly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It was accurate right down the center. It had the length, and it just barely, kind of like in the Tucker kick, it just dropped right down.
Well, and we're not going to get into it tonight, but we definitely can tell something's gotten into somebody's head in the old Seattle Seahawks organization in field goal kicking. I mean, and we love him, man. We love that guy.
For sure.
But all of a sudden, the guy's gone from 36 in a row and doesn't miss PATs, has missed a couple. And, not getting this. Like, you can tell, like, this ball is not moving at all. It's just on a straight line, and it's going to go right down the middle, and boom, okay, but it's short. But
he caught, that was 109 yards. He caught that right at the back inch of the end zone.
Now, smart move here. Right now, here's a couple of things as a coach. I'm just going to coach up a little bit. Okay, a rule of thumb for anybody who's coaching or playing is, if a player gets past you, you do not block. Smart move here for 54 to not block that guy and risk a block in the back. This guy's not a risk to him. Don't block him.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So now, but you want to see something beautiful, Nick? Like, just look right here, man. This is just absolutely golden. What's coming up on the bottom half of the top half of that arc that I just drew for you. Just I'm just going to play at regular speed, because I know you didn't see this part of it. Oh, let me get it set. All right, here we go. Regular speed for you. 87. Good night. Good night.
Yeah.
87. Good night. Watch number 87. Yeah, he gets a little stack of pancakes right there. And good night.
Bam. Down.
Another one gets kind of a good night.
That guy comes flying in and just barely gets his ankles.
You get a great block over
here.
Look
at that.
Like, here it comes. Look at 90 TM up there. Boom.
Agnew looking like, I roll that back on that. When that guy was coming in at his ankles, I mean, he's looking like Marshawn Lynch jumping up and breaking that. Bam.
Right there. Yep.
Yeah.
And then watch this beast right here, man. Like, here comes another one.
That's a big
good
defensive
night.
tackle.
Boom. Good
Boom.
night.
And he's gone.
Yeah, man.
And there's our former corner right there, Shaq Griffin, making sure the kicker doesn't make a DK Metcalf play.
Good call out on that one. All right, so I'm going to go right to the next one now. This is the final plays of the night, the final set. This Green Bay Cincinnati game was absolutely crazy. If anybody didn't see it, and if you catch this on another little show highlight of watching this with Nick, LaBow, and myself here on Special Teams for Life, as we finish out here, you have great field goal kickers here. You got one of the best kickers in the league for Green Bay, and you have a rookie kicker for Cincinnati who's already kicked 2 game-winning field goals this year. So in this game right now, there's about 2 minutes to go. Green Bay's attempting to take the lead. It's 22-22 and just shanked. But watch how the ball just getting. We're not going to break these down too much. I just want people to watch how the ball is moving, because I have never seen ball movement during field goals like I have this year. See that how it's kind of, I mean, that ball was curving to the left the moment he kicked it.
It even kind of went
right?
bit
That
in
ball is
too.
curving to the left, and then out of nowhere,
Like
they
curves.
call it the old swirling wind, right?
Yep.
Now, what's funny is that guys aren't watching, and I want people to take note of
Yeah.
this for down the road. Okay, so there's Green Bay field goal miss number 1. 2 minutes to go in the game. Cincinnati gets the ball back. They go down to the other end. Now here's the rookie kicker going for his 3rd field goal, winning
Yep.
kick of the season.
And one note to make, he hit 2 previous game
Yes.
winners this
And
season. And
yep,
that looked like it was gonna go
right
again
there,
with the wind just outside.
just outside. And the Green Bay kicker, and I just lost his name. He'd hit 3 in a row.
Yeah.
He'd made 3 in this game. So they'd come into this part of the game making 4, but the Cincinnati kicker had missed a PAT earlier in the game. So you're at 22-22, a missed PAT and 2 missed field goals. And now Rodgers gets the ball back with under a minute to go in the game. And what does Rodgers do? Hey, is anybody ever going to cover
Devontae?
Nick
It's
LaBow?
like,
If we face Green Bay and there's a minute to go in the game,
I
can you
want
please call Pete Carroll and tell him, can somebody cover Devontae Adams? Like, we'll lose if somebody else catches the ball. Devontae is probably going to go across the middle of the field, and Aaron's going to throw it to him, because how many times have we seen this, man?
And
Like,
that's what I'd love to see. Is I'd love to see them down, driving in. Devontae crosses the middle. Aaron hits him, and then boom.
And look at the calmness.
Right
and I put this in for a reason on a couple of these field goals. I just want people to see what took place beforehand. So he completes the pass across the middle. There's 10 seconds. He's going to spike this with 3 seconds left. But notice how instead of him panicking, he's got everybody calm. He's checking everybody out. He spikes it.
Bam.
I mean, he is
Doesn't
so
want to
calm under
foul.
pressure. Yeah, people can, say what they want about him, but geez Louise, he knows how to get his team in position to win. It's his head coach at times that maybe finds a way to lose. Like they say, coaches lose games, players win games, and I'm a big believer in that. All right, so here we go. 3 seconds left. Chance for him to win the game. 22-22. One of the best kickers in the league. And look at that ball.
Again with the wind. I don't know what it is about the wind in Cincinnati. It's like,
remember, I think I showed it the old, you don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati. Sam White. But what's nuts about this, and you just called it, I would hope that guys like you, Rain, Sky High, we should ask Sky High Aviation. I mean, he's the guy who does the has to check altitude readings and wind gauges and stuff. I mean, seriously, there's got to be some science experiment you can do at school on different city, barometric pressure points or something. I mean, look at this. The way that ball just goes right, and then, I mean, what is going on there? Look at this. I mean, I'm telling you, I've kicked a lot of footballs now, not even close to what these guys are kicking. I've never seen this, and I've watched college practices. I watched NFL practices.
yeah.
I've never seen what's going on, and I think maybe the guys in Vegas are pushing something. I better be careful. I don't want to get cement shoes and be tossed off a bridge. Oh, okay. So now Green Bay's now missed 2 field goals. So here we go. Now we're going into overtime.
Burrow.
I'm a Joe Burrow fan.
So
Who's he throwing to here? Who is Joe Burrow throwing to on this one?
I think he mistaked. I think he was. I truly think he thought.
Where did Joe
Burrow
was
still
play?
at LSU.
There you go. He thought this was the national championship game.
Yep. Oh, totally. I mean,
so he's like,
because the white, the yellow.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna throw. Oh, I'm gonna throw to my hot route over the middle of the field.
That's Jamar Chase.
Yep, he's wide open. So, no problem. Green Bay overtime. They ran the ball first, second, third down. Let's send our kicker out there, and then here it is, game over. Oh, he didn't win the game for him. 3 in a row. So he's missed 3. Look at the look on his face. The look. Oh man, bummer, dejection. So now there's been 3 field goal misses in a span of probably 5 football minutes. The final 2 minutes of the game, first 3 minutes, 3 by them, 1 by them. Now here's the final couple. So now, and this is a beauty. Okay. Do not, even if you've not seen this, for anybody out there, do not watch the players here. Don't watch the Green Bay Packers here. Don't watch the official. Don't watch the holder. Don't watch this guy. Don't even watch the football. I want you to just keep your eye on the kicker. Just the entire time, do your best to keep your eye on the kicker. Okay. The ball's up. It's definitely going down the pipe. Look at the kicker. Look at the kicker.
Oh, he's celebrating.
Look at the kicker. Just look at the kicker.
Yep.
Yes.
And
Yes.
what I've noticed is the veteran kickers in those situations, they're all the ones sprinting for the locker room.
Look
The
at that.
young
Look at that.
guys, the
I
young
feel so bad
guys.
for him. Say it. Go. What you're gonna say
Oh
there?
yeah,
You're right on point.
when the veterans hit a game winner, they're the guys running into the locker room because they don't want to get jumped all on. When
Yeah.
the
And what
or
does
I'm
the
sorry,
rookie
when the
do?
older guys,
When the veterans. The
Yeah.
veterans don't want to get jumped on. And what
Yep.
does the rookie do?
And the rookies and the young guys, they're the ones jumping.
Oh man, it's crazy. It's
Oh
unbelievable.
yeah.
So here we go. So now they've missed 3, 4, 5 field goals. And again, I just want people to see it one more time. It's unreal. Just now watch the football though. I mean, granted, I told people to watch the kicker. Watch the football in flight. Tell me that you wouldn't think that's good. I mean, the way that ball started out, that ball is going right down the middle. It's coming right down the
Yep.
middle. And then it just
The wins.
he's not even looking though. He's not even
No.
looking. He's
See, look,
celebrating.
he's jumping for his offensive lineman. Justin Tucker just made NFL history. Like when we analyzed that 2
Oh my
plays ago,
gosh.
he was the one sprinting for the sidelines.
The only thing worse I've ever seen was kicker years ago for Arizona who made the field goal and then tore his knee jumping in the air to celebrate.
Oh yeah,
That
I
was brutal.
remember that.
All right, so now here we go. I mean, that's 5 missed field goals and an extra point.
In a span of what, 8
Now,
minutes?
now here we go, Nick. Look at the you can't do it's 3rd and 16. This play right here. It's 3rd and 16. They're out of field goal range. Now we're getting down to like 3 minutes left, so somebody better score. 3rd and 16. And look at this throw off his back foot. Boom. Triple coverage. Now they ruled him. They actually ended up ruling him short. I thought he got the first down.
So did
Talk
I.
about, when people get all jazzed up about our receivers, and of course we love our receivers.
Uh-huh.
But people DK and that type of stuff. However, the way it goes, they got 2 of the best. Like when you're talking 2 receivers that can play, who are you going to cover, right? Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
So let's bring him back on there, and let's see if he starts celebrating. That ball goes down the middle, but man, he's not going to be jumping up and down early, man.
I'll tell you this, he
all by himself.
Yep, walking away, relieved. He's so relieved because
He is.
I remember a few weeks ago on Monday Night Football when he hit a game winner for Green Bay, and Aaron Rodgers had a press conference. He said he sits next to him every single flight on the plane. And I'll tell you this, he was definitely, after he missed those 2, thinking about that flight back.
Oh, heck yeah. I mean, and you're right. I mean, I think a good athlete or competitor, they're not excited about the game winner or whatever. They're thinking about the mistakes they made. How can they get better and stuff? But then now when I saw the end of that game, it was just absolutely crazy.
Oh yeah.
Well, Nick, man, that, and we only covered just a small portion of the plethora of stuff that took place over the last few weeks, but I think we're going to be getting back on track, and we got a couple specials we're working on for from the 2017 season, and a special on Leon Washington we're working on. But I think again the focus is Seattle Seahawks. So tomorrow I will have a show on Seahawks football and why I think that our offense is going to be actually better than just fine, and why I'm excited for what Shane Waldron's doing. And I'm happy that I think we're going to really see the West Coast offense the way it's meant to be playing. That's nothing against Russ. It's just I think just a different change. So I think we're going to be in good shape. But man, I love special teams. I know you do. Any final words you want to say before we head out for the night?
I want to say, in Geno we trust, and go Hawks.
Go Hawks. All right. Special teams for life. We'll see you on the fly next time.